I'm the best ever. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their club. There's no one that can match me.
Yo, bounce guy, go off.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
Wilder's in a world of trouble, closing seconds. Can he weather the storm here in the third round?
And the ball to superlative.
Big right hook, lands flush for Cambosos, and that knockdown counts for Lopez. We have ourselves a fight.
Khabib Nurmagomedov gets a triangle choke from up top. Gaethje's out, and the fight is over. The triangle choke for Khabib Nurmagomedov.
And Porter gets knocked down. He gets knocked down again. 10th round TKO win. Left uppercut, and then next on Leo. It appears he's out cold. The fight is over. It was a counter left uppercut, and just like that, what a left uppercut. I did not see that coming, ladies and gentlemen. I will have to admit, what a fight.
Nice celebration for a 3K video. I don't know, man. To hit 3,000 subscribers and like
right hook to the body for Campbell.
Left hook to the body for Garcia. And that knocked down Campbell. It was a left hook to the body. Campbell on the ground. The count is on. Can he make his way up? It appears he can't get up. Campbell on the ground. Trying to stand up. And the fight is over. Ryan Garcia with a 7th round knockdown. What a performance. Guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. Do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. We're trying to do record numbers today. Ryan Garcia tearing up and crying. What a performance for Ryan Garcia.
You hear me? I can't hear you.
You are on the clock. Trey Melton starting off the show for us. Here we go.
Well. Another beautiful week. Another week of, let's be honest, okay? Let's be real. If you watched this week's UFC card, you were probably getting punished for something. Okay? You were probably getting scolded. You were probably getting reprimanded. You was probably doing something you shouldn't have been doing, and now you're forced to watch. I mean, did we care about anybody on the card? Let's be honest. I liked Roman Dolezal a little bit, but kind of weak if you ask me. But here we are back again. Because let me say something to y'all. There was some disrespect thrown around last week. There was some hate. There was some chatter. There were some murmurs of people that were hating very much when I said this statement. But I want to make it very clear with UFC 298 coming up soon. Okay, I want to make this very clear. If Volkanovski goes in and wins against Ilia Topuria, and not only wins, but does it in a dominant fashion, I'm telling y'all right now, he is still the face of the UFC. And yes, notice what I said. Notice what I said here. I said still. I said still the face, as in he is the face right now. He is the most exciting fighter right now. He pulls the biggest bill right now. He is a draw. Not only is he a draw, but he can back it up when he gets into the octagon. Now I'm telling y'all, a lot of y'all are going to look very, very foolish, very, very foolish here in a few weeks if Volkanovski goes into that fight and looks dominant, looks primed up, looks nothing like he looked like when he fought off a 2-week notice, when he was coming off the couch, when he didn't even need to take that fight. He just took it off a whim. Shouldn't have even took it. All the little fanboys in the chat, all the little cornballs in the chat, everybody who hops on my Johnson every time I get in here, every time the source, the king, the one who gets it done, Mr. Intel hops on the mic. All you dummies are going to look very, very, very foolish once again. And here I'll be standing here, victorious, with my hand raised right beside Volk, telling y'all once again, the face of the UFC is still here. The bill collector is still here. The needle mover is still here. Volk never left. Volk never left. Excuse the 2-week knockout. That's a rarity. But I just want to let it be known that all you dummies, all you little fanboys are about to be looking very, very corny, very, very sorry, very, very foolish when I stand victorious and correct once again. Miller, take it away. How we doing? What's up?
What's poppin'? Trey Melton back in the building, live in the flesh. I don't know if you got a tan or something. I don't know what's going on. You got the new shades. I'm not sure what it is.
It's just sex appeal, really. It just applies weekly. I don't understand. It's kind of a curse, kind of a blessing. You say what it is. It doesn't really matter.
I doubt you've ever been accused of having such a thing, but nonetheless, you're here today, man, and it's great to have you. Well, I wanted to recap this weekend's fight night, but you wanted to talk about Volkanovski. We'll get to that in a bit because I'm pretty confident that if my life depended on it and I could pick between Volkanovski and Topuria, I would freely, confidently pick Topuria. But that's for later. Can we talk a little bit about the boring, underwhelming card of this weekend, and if there's anything you like? And let me just say one more thing. If there's nothing you liked, at least you can look forward to something from that card. That is Moicano potentially beating one of your favorite fighters. Bryce Mitchell's already out the door for you. Derek Lewis is gone. But Moicano might be the one to knock out your last one standing. That's Paddy Pimblett. But nonetheless, this weekend, what was your thoughts?
I mean, honestly, I thought this weekend was kind of boring. I wasn't that impressed with it. Didn't think it was that great. Moicano over Drew Dober. Good fight, I guess. Decent fight. That's what I'm saying. It's just no names in here that got me excited. I could care less about these bums in here that are just trying to scratch their way to get back into contention or get back into the rankings. Moicano, kind of a dog. Kind of looks good. Kind of looks decent. He's always been kind of a dog, though. So I mean, it's nothing new. Nothing I didn't expect, to be honest. Nothing surprised me this weekend. I was hoping Roman was going to pull it out, to be real with you. I've been a fan of Roman. Guys up and down. The guy's up and down. Is he going to be good or is he going to suck? It doesn't. I don't understand here. What's going on? Is he going to be solid? Is he going to be one of them studs from Georgia, or is he just going to fall apart and be weak and end up being like Giga and kind of being a flop? We got to decide here. Because right now you're trending toward the bum category. If I'm being real, we're trending towards the bum category. Other than that, Moicano over Drew Dober was great.
I wanted to see more from Imavov. I thought he would put on or get the finish, especially after round one, and he didn't get it. So I'm like, man, that's a bummer. Moicano was a little bit boring as far as the fight in general, but question for you that we could talk about, and we have Chris Faith in one of the voice channels, so he'll be joining us in a second, one of Trey's best friends. But Moicano, as far as a personality, right? Like, I think he got it figured out a bit. People are talking about him. He's making headlines, I guess, more than anyone on that fight night card, and he wasn't even the main event. What's his ceiling in the lightweight division?
I mean, honestly, I don't think we know his ceiling yet. Honestly, I don't think we've seen his full potential yet. He's on his way right now. I think this is the run that he's going to put together. This is the time, if he's ever going to do it, this is the chance where he has to take and finally make the run for the title. Will he do it? I'm not really sure, to be honest. There's levels when it gets to that, and honestly, does he look good? Does he look impressive? Yeah, sure, I guess a little bit. Nothing too crazy. But I don't see him holding the belt anytime soon. You see him holding the belt? I seen you have a I mean, I seen you have a very disrespectful, awful question going on in the chat right now. That's honestly,
We'll
that's
talk about that
honestly
in a
pretty
bit.
rude. That's
Well-
honestly pretty rude. Paddy would absolutely dog him if he got there. It'd finally show off his ground game and bully him. But anyways,
We have two people waiting on call. So before we talk a little bit more about how Moicano absolutely demolishes Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, before we get to there, we have two people waiting. The first one joining us is none other than, I guess, the name that has been given to him, the People's Champ. Chris Faith is with us this evening. And let's see what he has to say about this weekend's card and the future fights that we have on schedule.
Before I get onto the card this week, let me just say this. For the pay-per-view coming next week, I do not care who wins and I do not care who loses. Either if it's Alexander Volkanovski or Ilya Topuria. I don't care who bleeds first and I don't care who breaks bones. But knowing that that fight's going to be a hell of a fight. If it's Volkanovski, that's good news. If it's Ilya Topuria, well, that's a different story. If my prediction goes wrong with Topuria, that's fine. I don't care if Volkanovski wins. I still love and respect the guy.
No, that's fair. I mean, Volkanovski's a dog. He's a pound-for-pound fighter. Trey believes that he's the face of the UFC. What do you have to say to that?
If he beats Ilya Topuria, then he is the face of the UFC.
Wow, Trey and Chris having common ground. I mean,
of course, I lead this guy. This guy's a little follower, a little fanboy. He sits here and listens to everything I say. He's finally taking it in. He's finally learning it.
I was out. A week ago, I was rescuing your sister when she was in the tentacle hentai world.
Yeah, your service is breaking up, buddy.
Yeah,
you need to tell your nurse to up your minutes, pal.
Still on the Homer Simpson dick right there. So that's not on me. That's on you.
I wish that
Shame
made
on
sense,
you.
bro. I wish that made sense, bro.
How does that make sense, bro? How does that make sense, bro?
so
How's it going living in the hospital? How's everything been going?
Oh,
They've been opening your blinds for you lately? They've been letting you look outside lately?
You know what's so funny? Because I was licking your sister's pussy in the hospital. And it's so fucking good, motherfucker. That is so fucking good.
I forgot to I forgot to kind of give a disclaimer that anything goes on the stream, and I guess that's pretty obvious of the last 15 seconds, but there's certain things that could potentially hurt my channel or get it flagged. So we could just keep that in mind as we continue talking about this weekend's past events. Maybe let's reel it back into the UFC a bit. I would disagree with both of you, so maybe you guys can make an argument. Chris, we hear your background. I don't know exactly what's going on.
Sorry, I'm just running and walking together in the highway with just myself.
Well, be careful out there, I guess, with whatever you're doing. I don't understand how you guys say
take
that
about 4 steps to your left, Chris. I want to see something. I want to see something real fast, pal.
It'll be my dick in your sister's puss.
Take about 4 steps to your left. I want to see what this Chevy Malibu do real quick. I want to see what this Chevy Malibu will do real fast, pal.
You come to New Jersey because you should have came 3 fucking months ago.
Hey, of course you're walking, Chris. You can't afford a car. You can't afford a car. You can't afford Uber.
You can't come because I'm gonna get somebody. Get who? Get who? Who the fuck is gonna get? Like you act like this is WWE. It's the real life pro, motherfucker. This isn't WWE shit.
Who runs and walks at the same time, you weirdo? Who says that? You're such a weirdo.
Probably the sister. She was like, yeah, when I was licking her pussy.
All right,
is that like Winnie the Pooh? Wow, that's interesting.
Oh wow, because your sister had Winnie the Pooh titties.
All right, so we have another caller, Chris. So I appreciate your call. Maybe we could get you back in a second because I would love an explanation on the Volkanovski being the face of the UFC if he beats Topuria. I don't agree, but feel free to come back on. All right, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. And you still need to lose fat fucking pounds.
Go ahead and take a couple steps to the left, Chris. I want to see what this Chevy Malibu does real fast, pal.
We have Hollywood Hito in the chat. That went a little bit left, to say the least, with Chris and Trey. I don't know what to expect anymore. I don't know the relationship. They might have to meet in person one of these days, square off.
I'll dog Chris if he ever squares up with me. I can promise you that I'll tap him out in every submission he wants to be tapped out in.
I think I think, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think Chris would be like a minus 350 on paper, at least on my bookie or DraftKings. But nonetheless, Heath, welcome to the stream.
First and foremost, trash talk is perfectly fine. That's not going to get you flagged. But everybody knows there's certain topics that, good old Biden doesn't want us talking about. So that's the stuff that'll get you flagged. That's what we're talking about. But the trash talk is fine.
Yeah, Joe almost got our channel taken down talking about certain
reference
things,
but... Joe almost took us down, but it's all good. We survived. So number one, I want to talk about something very important. Miller, you're a liar. You're a liar. That was no Bible. That was a hymn book. You lied to everybody. That was no Bible.
Wow.
I don't know what he's talking about.
That was no Bible.
Even care? You're not even Christian, are you? You don't even care about Christianity, do you?
Mormon.
I don't know what he's talking about. I showed the book right on stream.
No, you didn't. You didn't know what it said.
Put my hand on the Bible. I mean, I got another one. I could.
Which
no, bring that same one back out.
Yeah, I think I see it back there still.
Yeah,
no, I actually took it upstairs. That's another one. This is a Bible. This is a Bible right here. Look you see? This is the NASB Thin Line Bible. Maybe you guys can look this one up. Trey's more of a NIV guy. Hand on the what did I bet on? Hand on Bible that what? What was it?
Some nonsense. Anyway,
I don't know, but something you need to take your hand off that Bible right now if you're gonna do that. Take it off the Bible.
That Adesanya would beat Hamzat Chimaev. I still believe that. I don't think. Hamzat won't be in the top 5 ever. I truly do believe that. But anyways, we got that out the way. Anything else, Hito, that you want to share with us besides being a snitch?
So I'm little. I agree. Like Volkanovski is a big name, but the face of UFC, I don't know. I don't think like a casual fan like Carlos. Carlos is a casual UFC fan in the chat. He's not running to a Volkanovski fight unless Islam is involved or something like that. He's just not the face. He's great. He's a big name, but the face of the UFC, I don't think he's there yet. I can see him beating Topuria, and then if he moves up to light heavyweight and fight other people besides, not light heavyweight, but lightweight, and fight other people besides Islam, yeah, he could definitely be the face. I think he could take out some people in that division, but I just don't think he's the face right now.
He's not even close. I mean, in order to be the face, I guess you got to be the one that sells the most tickets, that is on the top pound for pound list. He's coming off a knockout loss. He's coming off a knockout loss. Topuria is about to dog him. I mean, we could even talk about that
after going up. After going up in weight, after being on the couch for 2 weeks. This is what I'm saying to y'all.
No, I agree. I don't. That loss doesn't take a knock off him at all. Really, to be honest with you, just because you Miller. I don't know why, but the situations were the situation. He had 2 weeks. He had to cut weight and prepare for somebody that's a legit champion, not like one of these one champions and then they lose the belt and they don't go back to the belt again. He's a legit champion, so you're a little too hard on Volk, and Volk is going to beat Topuria. Like I'm guessing second round, Volk takes him out.
I got like a light bulb switch, and I guess we maybe have to wait to see what Topuria does. But let's consider this. Just bear with me. What if Volkanovski himself is overrated? Has the featherweight division ever been that good? What? I mean, it's been 3 fights with Max Holloway, a Brian Ortega that's ranked number 3 that we haven't seen in forever. When was the last time Brian Ortega won?
Yeah.
What's Volkanovski's best win?
You want to know why we haven't seen him in forever? Because Volkanovski absolutely ended his career, ruined his life. I mean, ruined the guy. The guy thought he had it twice. Thought he had him in the choke twice. No. It was the craziest escape I've ever seen in my entire life. 2 times, and he escaped. He's an absolute dog. That's what I'm saying. And he is one of the pound for pound fighters. He almost got
finished. He almost got finished by Ortega. His best wins are what? Holloway, which Holloway's good, but Holloway should probably be at 155, and I don't know. He just doesn't fare well against Volkanovski. But then is Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, Jose Aldo when he was probably over the hill. I mean, is Volkanovski really like pound for pound top 5? Maybe top 7.
Everybody worships Max Holloway. You put him to bed 3 times. So what are we really talking about here?
Forget that. Also, he had a debatable against Islam. He went up in weight. Like there's
very
people
much so the first time
that Volk won. there's arguments like you yourself during the live stream said it can go either way. Like it wasn't like a clear win for Islam, and then you're going up a weight against a great fighter in Islam
with an already small guy. He's small for his division right now, and then he goes up a weight class and still competes like that. He's 100% top 5 pound for pound.
Listen,
face of the UFC, moves the bill, moves the needle, does everything you need to do to be the face.
Islam is good. I'm not gonna deny that he isn't good. But again, he's probably the best fighter in the world right now too. But has he really beaten the big names? Is he really that proven? So for
you can be all over Leon's dick for wrestling with Kobe.
Whoa! That's the best fighter in the world right now. If we really want to be honest, we could take it there.
You can be all over Leon's dick wrestling with Kobe, but when both wrestle with Islam, or that doesn't count.
Let me ask you this: What was the Leon versus Kobe fight close? No, because Leon is that good that he doesn't have close fights. He just dominates. He knocked out Usman.
It was closer than you think.
Stop, Trey. I mean,
it was closer than you think. Neither of them did anything. Miller, neither of them did anything. They did absolutely nothing. They were slipping around on the canvas the whole time. Neither of them barely did absolutely anything. Don't say he dominated that fight.
Leon almost subbed him. Leon head kicked him, and Kobe was a little bit hurt. Kobe's the one that didn't do anything. That's not Leon's fault.
Really, if anything, Leon was
champion in the UFC right now, Miller.
He's the best, though.
Oh my! How does that work? What math is that? What UFC math is that, and how does that work?
Pound for pound, who's better than Leon right now? Take your time.
Volk, Sean.
Is Islam proved yet? Who has Islam beat to make him better than Leon? As far as career-wise,
You talk about this guy every 2 seconds.
Oliveira's good. But Oliveira has lost a lot of fights as well, too. Leon beat the pound for pound. At the time, Usman was a pound for pound best fighter in the world, right? They were talking about him being the next GSP or surpassing him. Leon stopped that. He also beat Kobe as well, too. He's on like an 11-fight win streak. I'm just saying the man is proven. And he's in a tougher division than Volkanovski. Can we agree on that? He's in a tougher division than Volkanovski?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that, of course. But still, he hasn't fought half of these guys that are going to be challenging him now.
Listen, at the end of the day, Volkanovski's he's good. He's pound for pound, maybe top 6, 5, maybe.
He's good enough to make Islam number 1.
But to be you know how the UFC is. They put Sean Strickland up there as well. Sean Strickland's not even that good either. But he dwells in the pound for pound rankings. You win a title, they're going to throw you up there already. They're going to throw you up there pretty quickly. I'm just saying he's good. Volkanovski's good, one of the best featherweights of all time. But I wouldn't necessarily say he's the face of the UFC right now. That's like not even close.
Here's the thing about Leon too. This guy, you're saying you wouldn't say Volk is underwhelming, but Kobe shitted on Leon's dad, and he did nothing to him, really.
Absolutely nothing.
It was a clear win.
Absolutely.
But this is the guy that took out Usman, knocked him out. I mean, he couldn't do that to Kobe.
If anything, I commend them more for being poised and not getting distracted and locking in and winning.
Let's not get confused and not remember he was getting absolutely dogged before he knocked out Usman, before he got the luckiest head kick of his entire life in UFC history. He was getting whooped on bad. Like it was one of the most lopsided championship fights I've ever seen. Bad.
You ever seen the movie Fast and Furious? Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. A win is a win. At the end of the day, he won by knockout.
That's why you're a Leon fan. You're quoting Fast and Furious.
I mean, why are we bringing up, he was winning majority of the fight? At the end of the day, he got head kick knocked out. And obviously, it was an elevation factor that had a lot to do with it as well, too. And that showed in their last fight.
Factor worked for both people, though. You act like it was a one-sided thing.
Usman trains over there, though.
That sounds like a Leon problem.
Not in Utah.
He trains at high elevation in Colorado, so it's the same thing. He's used to it.
Sounds like he needs to hire a coach that knows how to game plan. I don't know what to tell you. That's your fault.
He still won. I don't know why we're talking about this as if he lost. He won. But again, one of the most dramatic knockouts in history. Again, going back to Volkanovski, when did Volkanovski have something like that?
That's what it took, though. It took the craziest, luckiest, most insane knockout in UFC history for him to win because he was getting absolutely dogged. Had nothing to do with the elevation. Had nothing to do with any of that.
One of the greatest knockouts in history, one of the greatest speeches in history. I mean, when was the last time Volkanovski had a performance like that? Let's be honest.
Leon gets one
He
more win.
absolutely dogged
That's
Max
the big-
Holloway.
Leon gets one more win as a champion. That's going to be against Bilal, and then he's out. He's done.
And then when we close the book, we're gonna say, man, that guy was good. One of the best welterweights of all time. The man that arguably beat the best welterweight of all time. Then beats Bilal, who's a bum. I mean, and then I don't see anybody beating him. Shavkat Rakhmonov doesn't beat him. Colby doesn't beat him. Ian Gary doesn't beat him. So what happens if he beats Shavkat? What happens hypothetically if he beats Shavkat?
No
Can
chance.
he get his credit then?
Miller, there's no chance. There's a snowball's chance in hell he beats Shavkat. I can tell you that much.
Didn't you say the same thing about Colby?
I don't think so.
you see the pause? Listen, man, I know you guys don't like to give credit because Leon might not be the best talker. I don't even know how we arrived here. All I'm saying is that Volkanovski's good, of course, 100%. Let's go back to Volkanovski. Does he even beat Topuria?
Absolutely. Second round, done.
Miller, if Volkanovski's not the face of the UFC, who is?
It's a good question. What are we talking? We talking numbers? We talking skill?
The face of the UFC, the face.
No context, no description.
What do you mean?
Means.
You know what the face is. When you say the face of the NFL, you're not like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about wide receivers? We talking about linemen? The face of the UFC. Who is it? If it's not Volk,
it's clearly not Volk. I hate this, but you
who is it?
There's a couple names I could give you. You could say it's Alex Pereira. You could say it's John Jones. You could say it's Islam right now. I mean,
no.
All of those are definitely above Volk. You could say Leon, but the problem is people always tie in the ability to sell. But as far as the best fighter all around in the world, Leon is good.
Nobody knows who Leon is. Nobody. They would look at him and be like, "Who is that? He plays soccer or what?" I've never seen that dude before.
I mean, people were saying headshot dead around the world. I'm just saying.
And had no idea who they were quoting, Miller.
Volk doesn't move the needle. Agreed. Someone said in chat.
Yeah, and y'all are absolutely drunk. A little fanboy casuals chat.
Does Volk move the needle?
What are you talking about? So what was
the? Of course he does.
How?
Volk had two of the biggest fights last year, and they were both against Islam.
Because of Islam.
Is Islam moving the needle by himself like that? That was a major.
Absolutely.
When is the last time that Volkanovski has fought and not been the main event on a card? When is the last time that's happened?
Why does that matter? Why does that matter? Because if it's not for Islam, he doesn't sell well. Again, Islam, you can match him up with Poirier, with Gaethje. I mean, throw him in there with Moicano right now, and he sells. Volkanovski,
yeah, but he's not selling more unless he's with Volk.
Who does Volk sell with if it's not Topuria or Islam?
Anyone.
No,
Miller. He could sell with Max Holloway again.
Oh, that's such a nobody wants to see that.
Exactly, Miller, and people will still pay to watch it.
Colby moves the needle more than Volk.
Oh, heck no. No, that's not true.
Colby doesn't move the needle more than Volk?
Not more than Volk, and I love Colby. And Colby definitely moves the needle. That's what I'm trying to tell you, that Volk's moving the needle more than Colby.
If we're talking about needle movers, and I'm not even a Colby fan like that, Colby moves the needle more than Leon right now. I would even say that.
He gets people talking on social media. I don't know if it's translating to pay-per-view buys.
Come on. Colby versus Ian Gary sells more than anybody you match Volkanovski with right now. It just is what it is.
Heck no. That's the crazy Miller. This is getting bad. This is another awful one again. You're doing it again.
I think as we're talking right now, there is a clear problem with there's really no true face. And I know you're saying Volk, Trey, but all these guys really need perfect matchups in order to really move the needle.
Ooh, let's talk about that.
There's no real face, I can fight anybody and sell. I don't think the UFC has a real face right now. And Volk's in there included. There's not only person, honestly, that can sell pay-per-views right now off of press conferences. It will be Colby and Strickland.
Is Strickland the face?
No. Strickland technically there's an article out on Forbes after that LGBTQ comment. the pay-per-view buys went up 25%. That's the only statistic we got to go off of because of ESPN doesn't allow the UFC to release the numbers for all the buys throughout the year. But if you want to talk about people by themselves that can sell, it would have to be Kobe or Leon because everybody else you need to have that matchup. That includes Islam. Islam's not going to fight a regular person by themselves and be able to sell because you can't hype up the fight properly.
Let me ask y'all, who is Kobe or who else did y'all say, Kobe or Sean? What nobody are they fighting and everyone is going to be talking about it? Y'all are so wrong on that. Y'all act like they are just like anybody's paying to watch them fight anyone. If they fought nobody cares when Kobe fights until he starts talking and like attacks somebody and something actually happens. And guess what? When he does that, it's a top 5 fighter. Somebody who already has a little stamina to their name, so it has a little weight. It's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a high adrenaline fight. Unless you're fighting the most boring champion in the UFC and he runs away the whole time and the canvas is slippery, then there's a problem there.
Two things.
But he's not going and fighting some bum, and everybody's like, let's go watch Kobe fight.
Let me give you another name, but first, UFC hasn't had a face since Conor. Keep that in the back of your mind. Andrew Wheat in the chat says O'Malley might be the face.
That is not even close. Sorry, and I was rooting for O'Malley. He can't sell a fight.
Who's a bigger star than O'Malley right now?
He can't sell a fight. He went against Aljamain Sterling. And this is like the matchup of the year that everybody was praying for him to win, and the numbers weren't there. And Sterling even said it. I should have never took the fight. I thought the numbers were going to be crazy, and they were not. I've had bigger fights on my own. O'Malley isn't it. I'm sorry. O'Malley is not organic. He's being forced by the UFC because he's one of the Nelk Boy, he's like one of the Nelk Boy fanboys, and Dana loves him, and he's forcing it. And it's not organic, and everybody's calling out how corny he is. I'm sorry, and I love O'Malley's fight game.
I'm not even sure he gets past Cheeto too. That's another thing. It's gonna sell. What Cheeto is gonna sell. Cheeto beat him in the first fight. I don't know how people forget about that, but Cheeto beat him clear.
He's gonna absolutely dog Cheeto.
I don't know about that.
He's gonna absolutely dog Cheeto.
A 5-round fight. We're in round number 4. We're in round number 5. Are we confident that Sean pulls it off? I mean, he got gifted a decision against Piotr Jan in a 3-round fight, and he was exhausted. Granted, Cheeto doesn't have the wrestling.
Don't worry about that. They're definitely not going 5 rounds. I can promise you that much. So you don't got to worry about it going 5 rounds, him getting tired and all that.
Cheeto doesn't get finished like that. I mean, he's durable. I guess I would be impressive. I think it's almost like a 50-50 fight. I guess we'll see. But when we go back to talking faces of the UFC, maybe they haven't had one since Conor. Kobe definitely isn't it. Leon, as far as skill-wise, should be it, but it might be like Sean Strickland right now that draws the most attention. You could put him against anyone and he sells. You can't say that about anything else. Give me a better name than Sean Strickland.
Volkanovski. I've been saying it the whole entire time. He's got a whole country behind him.
That's a disgusting
You come from a land down under. Everybody knows when they hear that song, Miller, they know who's walking out when the song comes on. When the song comes on. They don't even got to announce him or anything. Just... You come from a land down under, and they already know what it is. Volk, the little rat's walking out, coming out there to be dominant in the octagon.
But Trey, the sad part is Jorge Masvidal has more pay-per-view sales than Volk. So it's like, is he really the face when you got Jorge Masvidal, who's a journeyman that has more pay-per-view?
They pushed Jorge, and Jorge had a little following when he came to the UFC, fighting people in the street, and then he came and he was an absolute bum. Had one huge knockout, had the best probably the best knockout in UFC history, the fastest knockout in UFC history, and that's what put him on the map. Then everybody wanted to see that, thought he was some exciting fighter and everything. Come to realization, the guy's just an absolute bum. He's a square. He's a jag. He's a jag. Just another guy. He's a nobody.
And Volk hasn't sold more than him. That's that's paperwork right there. He has 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. That's on Jorge's name. Volk doesn't have that. How can Volk be the face and he doesn't have the numbers to back it up? Nobody does.
He also had absolute stars that he was fighting against. Volk, in every single fight that he steps in, he is the biggest star in the fight.
What names impress you? What names impress you on Volk's resume?
Wait. You want to squint your eyes and do all that bull crap? What star has stepped in the octagon opposite side of Volkanovski and been bigger than him? Who has been bigger than Volk that he's fought? Let me know.
That's the problem. He hasn't really fought stars besides Islam. There's no stars in that featherweight division.
And Jorge has gotten to do that. He's got Jorge when he stepped in the octagon. He has not been the biggest star multiple times when he stepped in the octagon against Colby, against Usman, against. I mean, I'm sure there's other guys you can name I can't even think of off the top of my head. But that's what I'm trying to say. So don't let those numbers be so firm and factual. When he's the biggest star, he is the ticket in every fight he's in. Jorge is not. Whoever
but that's
Jorge
the problem.
is fighting is
the
the
ticket isn't big enough. He can be the ticket, but it's not big enough to be the true face.
Islam.
He needs better challengers. He needs better matchups, just like you were saying. That's not Volk's fault. He's absolutely dogged his entire division, ran laps around his entire divisions. I mean, now that he's even going up, fighting one of the scariest fighters in the UFC, everybody was crowning this guy as the next Khabib,
and got knocked out.
And then arguably beating him.
We could talk arguably all day.
And he's double his size. Double his size.
I don't know about double. I don't know about double. And he got knocked down the last fight.
And I think the UFC kind of feels it too. And we can't see the numbers, but you see how hard they're trying to push Jones and Stipe. And nobody wants to see it, but us fans. But Jones brings a casual viewing in. Look how crazy the gate was going to be.
Volkanovski doesn't bring that.
If Volk is really that guy, why are they trying to push Jones so hard in Madison Square Garden against nobody cares about him fighting Stipe?
Come on, guys. Volk is not the face. Let's be honest. Volk is not the face.
Do you understand how many fans that would bring if they did John Jones and Stipe? All the nostalgic fans that would be coming back and buying the UFC card and going to the bars and watching the fights.
Oh, you believe in that fight?
I'm not saying this. I'm not saying it's some great fight. All this stuff. I wanted it to be John Jones' comeback fight. I wanted that to be his comeback straight back to the UFC. It's Stipe. I called it almost 2 years ago. Now I've been wanting that to happen. Now we're 2 years too late. Don't want to see it anymore. But here's the thing. It's going to get pay-per-view buys. It's going to have a lot of eyes on it because they're going to bring all the nostalgic UFC watchers and viewers and fans that used to watch the UFC all the time when it was in its prime, when it had Rashad Evans and all them dogs.
You're selling my point.
Rampage Jackson, Chuck Liddell doing all this stuff. That's going to bring all them people back for that buy. That's why that fight's going to happen.
So then why isn't Dana pushing the hype train behind Volk like he is like a Jones or an O'Malley if he's the face? Dana
What do you mean? What do you mean? Hito, you just said it. He had the 2 biggest fights in the UFC last year. What do you mean? What do you want him to do? You want another one? You want him to fight every single month? What do you want to happen?
But he's not getting the Dana White privilege like an O'Malley is. Why is that?
He had the 2 biggest fights in the year last year. Do you hear what you're saying?
I agree with you, and that's a great. I'm agreeing for his talent. I'm saying he's a star, but the face, I don't think the UFC has a true face, and they're trying to look elsewhere to make it happen, like an O'Malley. That's why Dana's getting off. Dude, O'Malley got an award for like best fight of the year. That wasn't the best fight of the year.
Can we just talk about it? Can we admit O'Malley isn't it? Even if you beat Chito Vera, like that ship has sailed. He's not the face of the UFC, and he doesn't stand a chance, even if he beats Vera.
Here comes Miller. Here comes Miller again. The flip-flop, the U-turn, the pancake he is, flipping back around. Was off of Sean O'Malley, didn't even know who he was, never even heard of him. Then he was on his Johnson, slurping him the whole way to the championship, saying he's calling all his fights. Here he comes with the U-turn again, flipping back again.
I picked him. I'm just honest with the current events. I picked him to win Aljamain Sterling, not because O'Malley's better than him. I just didn't like what Sterling was saying before the fight. And now, currently 2024, O'Malley just isn't it. Strickland is a bigger draw. Sean O'Malley doesn't sell by himself. Topuria doesn't even want to fight him because his demographic is 16-year-olds. O'Malley isn't it. That ship has sailed. We got to look further. I think right now, Strickland could arguably be the face. John Jones is 1 foot in, 1 foot out, so it's not him. We haven't talked about Pereira. That's another big name as well, too. Just climbing up the ranks, has a belt in it.
He's not there yet, though.
He might not be there yet, but I mean, he's all right. Well, if there isn't, I think we could agree there isn't a face in the UFC right now. Can we at least talk about? Can we at least talk about the top 3 potential names in the UFC that could be the face? Potential faces of the UFC. What would be the 3 best names? It could be veterans in the game right now.
Hamzat.
Disgusting.
No. Forget about the fighting. You're talking about the face. The face doesn't always have to equate to being the best fighter. You're talking about the face.
You got to win, though. You got to win. He's not going to keep winning.
When has he lost? Shut up. He's never lost.
He beat a Usman that's a 170. How many times do I got to say this? He's not proven in his own division.
Dude, what are we doing here, Hito? We got
I gotta
kids
go.
on here.
He said he has
I give vagina. I have kids. I want to tell you, Trey. See ya.
Oh.
Golly.
Did you hear what he said? I don't know if you caught that. Either let's give 3 names. Who are the potential faces of the UFC right now? 3 names. They could be veteran right now. If I had to guess out loud, well, I'll let you think, even though you're gonna say Volk, which is horrible. I would say it's Pereira, Islam, and Strickland. I say those are the 3 best names. Pereira, Islam, and Strickland. I bet your 3 won't be better than my 3. Give me your 3.
Whoa, Pereira is one of mine, obviously.
Okay. So we
Volk is one of mine.
Disgusting. He's already
and Islam is one of mine.
Oh, so you agree with 2 of mine. That's beautiful.
Oh, you said Islam? I didn't hear that one. I'm
sorry. I said Islam, Pereira, and Strickland. So the only
let's be honest. If John Jones could come back and start fighting and not be out of the UFC for so long, he would be the face of the UFC.
Nah, he looks a little flabby at heavyweight. He beat Cyril Gane, but it's like
he didn't just beat Cyril Gane. He absolutely embarrassed him, sat him down, tucked him into the wall, and told him to stay there. Don't move until he tells him to get up.
Well, we have to be pragmatic about who the company would use to help close the deal. It's Volk. It's literally a meme. Listen, Volk is not. There isn't a face of the UFC. That's what I'm saying. There's only potential fighters that could potentially.
Listen, if there's not a face of the UFC right now, then I'm telling y'all, Volk is the top face of the UFC. He is. He just is. I'm sorry. Listen, when he comes out and he dominates Ilya and beats him, and does it with dramatic fashion, and people are talking about him and blowing him up again, everybody's going to be sitting here saying, holy crap, the source, the king, the one who gets it done, Mr. Intel, is right once again. How does he do it? And all I'm going to say is, hey, I'm the best capper in the UFC. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
What if he loses to Topuria? Then what are your next 2 names? Islam and Pereira?
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, at least we agree on that. We agree 2 names out of the 3. That's fair. Let's move on a little bit to
Listen, just know this though. Sean O'Malley is way in better position and a bigger face than Sean Strickland is. Y'all are letting 1 week.
How? Can you explain that?
Because y'all are letting 1 week of Sean Strickland saying some crazy stuff. Got on Theo Von's podcast, was in the mainstream social media for 1 week in his UFC career, and now y'all want to crown him as being the face of the UFC and the biggest draw and everything. That's hilarious. He got a couple clicks on Twitter. That was it. And I love Sean. That's my guy.
Sean O'Malley is not even close to being the star that Sean Strickland is. I strongly. When have you seen an interview of Sean O'Malley and you said, wow, that was insightful. Wow, that made me feel a certain type of way. No, you don't get that from Sean O'Malley. You get that from Strickland because you're either going to agree with him or disagree with him. Nobody has said, wow, O'Malley is incredible behind the mic. And that's part of the game. He doesn't have that. So he's not even close. Yeah, he's young and he has crazy hair. Is that his claim to fame, having rainbow hair?
I think he's had some decent times on the mic. I think he's had some decent press conferences. But what do you want now? What do you want? You want somebody just to say the craziest thing that they can think of off the top of their head now? That's winning the press conference now, just saying the most outlandish out there thing that you could possibly say?
Is being an entertaining character. Look at Moicano, had a boring fight. People are talking about him because of his personality. You're not going to get that. What saves O'Malley is his striking. I'll give you that. He's an exciting fighter. But
he's the best counter striker in the UFC.
I wouldn't say that he's the best counter striker in the UFC.
He's the best counter striker in the UFC.
His fights are exciting, but now he's going to start. Remember, he has a title now. Now he has to fight the Corey Sandhagens, the Marabs, and now Chito Vera. I don't even know if he gets past Chito Vera. So I would even be hesitant there. But I would say his reign is here. That's it. If he beats Chito Vera, that's the last title defense he has. I can't see him beating Marab, Corey Sandhagen.
Absolutely insane to me.
Maybe if he fights Henry Cejudo, he beats him. Maybe just because of the size difference.
I think he's beating Sandhagen. I think he's too long and stretched out for Sandhagen.
Sanhagen might not have the power that O'Malley has. We got to give O'Malley credit. He has the one hitter quitter, but I think Corey Sanhagen outboxes him and beats him, outstrikes him.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening. You're talking about the best counter striker in the UFC. I don't see him getting outboxed.
Eddie says Kayla Harrison Miller. I'm telling you. Yeah, if you want to call in, if you want to join the chat, all you got to do is join General Voice Channel, and then we'll drag you right into sub chat. Let's talk about, speaking of interviews and personality, Moicano. He has had a back and forth with Paddy the Batty Pimblett. It's maybe a 50-50 fight. Maybe this is a way for Paddy to get to the top 15 of the lightweight rankings. My question to you is, and this might be tough for you to be unbiased, but as far as a fight, who wins?
I mean, first of all, I want. Can you look up Moicano's big wins, like the names that he's beat, just in his most recent stretch? Let's just go with the last. Let's just go with the last 5 fights.
Moicano in the
I want to
UFC.
know his win loss and how it happened, and then I'll give you my answer.
You want to know his one loss? You said.
No, his win-loss in his last 5 fights and how they happened.
He is 4-1 in his last 5, and his only loss was to RDA in a 5-round fight. And remember, he said, I was in Brazil, I was eating steak, I didn't even know, and I flew over the next. He said all this stuff, and he lost. Oh, unanimous decision. We haven't even seen Paddy go a full 5 rounds. I'm just throwing that out there. So the names: he beat Jai Herbert, Hernandez, loses to RDA in a unanimous decision, then beats Brad Riddell, and then he beats Drew Dober.
And how did he beat them? All decision?
No, sub Jai Herbert, sub Alex Hernandez, rear naked choke Brad Riddell, unanimous decision against Drew Dober. Where we look at Paddy, oh my God, Paddy's resume is just disgusting in the UFC, but let me bring it up anyways. Paddy, on the other hand, he has beaten Jordan Levitt, who's your spirit animal for one. Then he beats,
that's your favorite fighter.
That's your spirit animal. And your favorite wrestler is Goldust. Then he beats Jared Gordon in a controversial win. Who I'm glad you could appreciate that one. We have Beta Quest. Before we continue, Beta Quest is in the building. Another caller. Welcome to the stream, Beta Quest. Let's see. I think he said he agreed with you, so let's see what he had to say. Yo. Well, he has his mic muted. There we go.
Whenever you're ready, you weirdo, let it rip.
Beta. Well, I guess
Listen, some people get nervous, some people get fearful when they step in the ring with the big dog, the source, the king, the one who gets it done. Their knees start rattling, they don't know what to say. They get tongue tied a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. It's nothing new. I'm used to it.
He has been here before. Dragging him again. Beta Quest.
Can you hear me now?
We could hear you loud and clear. What's up, Beta? Welcome to the stream.
Look, we're gonna address this the face thing. It's Volk. You need to step up. Middle of the year, nobody has anything coming up. Volk's ready. He's gonna sign. They're gonna use Volk. We're being pragmatic, right? We're not talking about like who's the face, because there is no face. You're right in that. But if we're gonna talk about who the UFC uses, it's Volkanovski.
How does that make him the face, Beta?
Because he's ready to fight.
You're the 2 biggest fights.
He's the one ready. You can't rely on John Jones. He's going to pull out or he's going to get injured. You can't rely on anyone else really, because they fight once or twice a year. Edwards fought once before he got the title shot, right? We're still waiting on him to fight again after an easy and clear win on Colby.
Because he's that good?
Yeah, but how long are we going to have to wait?
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily his fault, but going back to Volkanovski, I don't think it makes you the face of the UFC simply because you're available. At that point, we could just say Jim Miller and Bobby Green are the face of the UFC.
You know what they say? You know what they say in any sport? The best ability is availability. And guess what? He's available at all times.
This isn't a team sport. This is a solo sport. And when we talk about the face, we talk about skill, which he maybe arguably has. And then we talk about the ability to sell tickets.
In his in his defense, he's on the cover of the game that they just released. When you talk about football players, when Madden comes out, who's on the cover of it? The guy they think is the best.
Thank you
right?
for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that up, because that he's obviously going to get the curse now, and he's going to lose to Taporia, which makes me a little bit stronger in my sentiments.
That's entirely possible.
The curse already happened. He lost to Islam.
We're talking about the now, and they're still going to use him because Izzy used to be the face, but he lost to Strickland. Strickland had one good performance, so let's not give him this like praise that he's a seller. He came out and shit the bed. The mic still is great, right? It don't win fights, and if you have boring fights, no one's gonna want to watch you.
Yeah, but look at Bryce Mitchell.
You leave that man alone. He's now officially a fried bologna sandwich.
Miller, if you hate Christians, just say it. You've been attacking Christianity the whole time today. Just say it. It's fine.
Listen,
I get that I get the marketing aspect, but nobody's selling right now because the only one that's winning is Volk, and the only person he's lost to was a person that everybody considers to be the next step in the greatest fighter ever, right? So his stock never went down. Pereira might be your next best option if he fights.
Now we're talking.
If he fights somebody that moves the needle, if he fights a heavyweight, for instance, But if he fights Magomed Ankalaev, we're not getting a massive gate on that. Let's be real.
If we're talking about availability, then why wouldn't Pereira be Volkanovski? I think you guys are proving Beta. I appreciate this because you just I've been enlightened, because now I'm thinking, Volk availability and all that. Volk failed to do what Pereira did. Volk tried to go up in weight, get another title, didn't get it. Pereira has been the one that's actually been active. Goes up in weight, gets the title. Wouldn't that make Pereira the face of the UFC, if anything?
Wait. Pereira came in and fought, slimmed down to the lowest possible level he could, and then blew up to heavyweight before a middleweight fight. To compare what Pereira does as a weight bully to what Volkanovski does, which was go up, be the smaller man looking for a way to conquer somebody, is much different than Pereira, who was a literal Hall of Famer, 205-pound kickboxing champion, who had a win over a current UFC champion. That's very different. It's an entirely different concept.
It would be different if Volkanovski won. He got head kick knocked out.
And that's
Are we praising him for losing?
Off a 2-week notice.
Yeah, just like you give Usman praise for Hamzat, right? 2 weeks off the couch, he came in and Hamzat didn't dominate him.
That's not necessarily giving Usman praise. That's letting people know that's why Hamzat sucks. Because he struggled against an Usman that went up in weight 15 pounds in a week's notice. That's more saying that Hamzat sucks. I'm not necessarily praising Usman.
Okay. Oh, okay. If that's the route you're taking, sure. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So you're telling me Volk is the face because of availability and because he lost to Islam. That's what we're going with?
And because he had the 2 biggest fights last year.
The 2 biggest fights? How?
He did. I mean, he did. What do you mean?
And lost them both. That makes it.
It doesn't
this
matter.
Guy's a face because
he biggest cards on the year. You talk about a draw. You talk about moving the needle. You talk about bringing the bills. Miller, he's doing it, and he's got the skill in the octagon.
And he never lost a title in either of those fights. It doesn't count against him.
Answer me this: what's more impressive?
Mm-hmm.
Leon's head kick that he had against Usman, or the 2 chokes that Volk got out of against Brian Ortega?
Leon's head kick, without a question. That's one of the greatest.
I said more impressive.
Leon's head kick over arguably the pound-for-pound best welterweight fighter in the world. Yes. You think people are going to watch replays of Volk getting out of a submission or replays of Leon?
I watch it all the time.
It was everywhere forever. It was everywhere for weeks. It was everywhere.
It's not the same. All right, well, if you guys like watching guys get out of submissions, I mean, more power to you guys. I like the head kick, knockout, walk away, smooth, criminal.
The story of Leon
Beta, I want you to notice something.
Leon's story is better. I appreciate it.
When Miller gets backed into a corner, when he has nothing else to say, he wants to take a little jab at you. Oh, if you guys if y'all are gonna be We're winning, Beta. We're winning, Beta.
Oh.
That's all you need to know. This guy's backed into a corner with his tail tucked between his legs. He doesn't even know what to do.
If Beta
We're
and
talking
Trey
about-
are agreeing, I'm okay. I'm sorry, what Beta?
We're talking about like maybes and possiblies of who could be next. I want to talk about the guy who's going to be there when the biggest fight happens, and it's going to be Volk. And they're going to use his face on all of the promos
His face.
because he's there. It's his face.
And guess
You
what?
see
And
that
guess
little
what?
bald, you see that little bald head every time there's a major
Exactly.
fight.
And guess
because
what?
He's always acting.
And guess what? Alex Pierre, he's going to do great at the co-main. He's going to kill it on the co-main. It's going to be great.
Exactly. They're building a star. They keep putting all their money in O'Malley when they need to put it in Pajeda and push him to be the guy who does 3 different weight classes. The storyline is there. John Jones is out. That's not what's important now. He's not enough of a star because he's just gotten there and he's growing. Like you said, it was his 4th fight when he got a championship fight. It's 4 fights later. Volk has had years in the game. So you give him the respect as the veteran champ who's cleared his division, gone up and come back down. You give him the respect of saying this is the guy that we rely on for the company because he is. They literally rely on his face.
It just hit me, Beta, and thank you once again. It hit me that Volkanovski, yes, the company relies on him. You want to build a star, you have Volkanovski fight him. So they're building Islam, Volkanovski loses to Islam. Oh, we want to build Topuria, Volkanovski's going to lose to Topuria. I think that's the play they're going with. I agree with you. The company relies on him to be somewhat of a gatekeeper. I think that's what's happening.
A gatekeeper, and how long has he held the belt?
Gatekeeper at the throne.
A gatekeeper, and how long has he had the belt? He might be the longest reigning champion in the UFC right now.
The featherweight division has been underwhelming, to say the least.
Because he has dogged the entire Miller. He saved the division.
Yeah.
He's the savior of that division. He is the sole face and savior of that division because you can't even name anybody after the top 3 in that division, Miller.
Yeah, it's just him and Holloway.
It's him, Ortega, that is a bum, and he's
Ortega,
number 3.
Right, exactly. You followed that name up with he's a bum.
And this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. He's moving the bill so much. He's so much of the face. He's on the cover of the game. He's doing all these things, fighting dudes who are nobodies. He's carrying the whole card by himself.
Nobody's staying up to watch a Volkanovski fight. That's what I'll say. Anyways,
Beta, you
Beta,
are.
Beta, any last thoughts before we got a couple people waiting? Feel free to come back. He's a DC Fight Club member, Beta Quest, a legend.
Here, listen, Moicano and the marketing, brother. If the product's crap, nobody wants it. Just look at DeLorean.
One more question. One more question. Who wins, Moicano and Paddy? Give me a name.
Moicano, I think his striking is more dynamic, and Paddy leads with his chin.
You came back to earth. Thank you, Beta Quest. There you have it, guys. Beta Quest in the building. We have another caller, and his name in the general chat is Drewski Blanco. I think his government is Andrew Wheat. Is not letting me there it is. Drew, it has been a while since you've been on stream. Welcome to the stream. Let's hear what he has to say.
First of all, what is Trey and this other kid who just caught in smoking? I mean, y'all are how are y'all gonna say the face of a UFC is somebody we just saw flatlined against the side of the cage? Y'all gonna say that guy is the face of the UFC?
It happens to the best of them. What about Connor? What about Connor getting absolutely dogged in his fight?
Connor's never been absolutely flatlined like that. Maybe against Poirier, but like
he was up.
Really.
That's what I'm saying. He was up against the cage crying against Poirier. What are you talking about?
Let's do this then. How many followers do you think your face has on IG?
I don't know.
I don't know the exact number. I just looked it up. I'll tell you. How many followers do you think your face has?
296K.
Yeah, even talking about Volkanovski now. Yes. You don't even think he has 1 million followers. This shows how little you know about the UFC, if we're being real now.
Yeah, I don't,
he has 2 million. Okay, he has 2 million. Right?
That's actually pretty high.
Wow.
What do you think O'Malley has?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm
going
to guess
different.
12.
O'Malley is a social media superstar. O'Malley
what is the face of the UFC?
O'Malley probably has
if he doesn't bring in the most followers, most faces, most notoriety, then what is the face to you?
Drew, because apparently O'Malley can't sell a bill. Nobody's buying
he's
any.
fought the most boring fighter in history.
Mm.
I hope y'all know the one fight he had against Sterling. It's not O'Malley's fault that didn't sell. It's because no one wants to watch somebody get wrestle humped for 25 minutes straight.
Mm.
And they thought that was going to happen. It wasn't O'Malley's fault that fight didn't sell. The Cheeto fight's going to do numbers. Numbers.
Also, just to throw a little fun fact out there for the numbers that we're talking about. Volkanovski is supposed to be the face. Pereira right now more followers than Volkanovski, 2.2 million. So
Volkanovski is the face of a division, not the face of the organization.
Well said.
That's cool. That's cool. Congrats on your followers. Difference. How many of those people are going and buying the pay-per-views now? How many of those people are going and watching the fights now? I don't care if they got 4 million people that go and watch them stream Fortnite on the weekends. That means nothing to me.
They'll buy O'Malley's.
Apparently they're not.
16-year-old demographic, or whether it's whatever you want to call them, who are their fans, but they'll buy his.
I've never heard, outside of Trey and Beta, anybody argue that Volkanovski is the face of the UFC. That's a disgusting take.
That's disgusting. It makes me want to throw up just hearing it.
How is he not? How is he not? He's got a whole country behind him.
He sucks.
Because he has a whole country behind him?
Drew says that. Drew's saying all this, and here yip-yapping, talking everything, but we'll be sitting there on the couch on Saturday night, and he'll be the first one to perk his cheeks up in the air and say, you come from a land down under, so shut your mouth, Drew. What are you talking about right now?
Listen, he's a good fighter. I like the guy. I like the guy. I don't hate him.
Look at Bob. Get videos of the TV and everything. I don't want to hear nothing about it.
Legend goes that Trey actually has seen him do that.
Face.
Yeah, he's not the face. Face of the division, absolutely. He's been the face of the division
for quite some
time.
No, he's not the face of that division. He's single-handedly carried and put the whole entire division on his back. So much so that he was ranked one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the UFC, and he is 100% so much of the face that he was on the video game.
Let me ask Trey a question. Mm-hmm. If this is your logic, if that's your logic, how is Islam not the face of the UFC?
That's what I'm saying. He's in my top 3.
He just embarrassed your guy.
He's in my top 3.
Yeah, but I mean, how is he not the face if all that's good for Volk and he just did that to Volk?
I told you, and it's racist, and I'll own this. Okay, it is a little racist. I know. I'm not afraid to say it.
God.
You gotta be able to speak English and carry the room. Demand the room.
Speak English. Islam can speak English.
Volkanovski demands the room.
Volkanovski.
People listen when he talks.
When?
People go nuts when he steps in. People go nuts when he walks out to the octagon.
Listen, I'm going to go as far out to say is he's about to get beat by Topuria.
Oh, let's talk a little. All right.
So we can talk about it. I think Topuria is going to beat him.
Let's talk about this a little bit.
I think the downfall of Volkanovski started when you started backing him, Trey. And now his career is about to start spiraling.
Happens with Trey's fighters.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Derek Lewis happened with Trey. Colby happened with Trey. Now it's going to be Volkanovski. I've seen this pattern before.
I've seen it too, Miller, countless times.
Topuria is so well-rounded, man. I mean, the guy, he's just a future. I'm not saying Volkanovski, he's arguably the second greatest featherweight of all time. We can't take that away from Volkanovski. But in 2024, this day and age, Topuria, as well-rounded as he is, going to stand there in the pocket with Volk. I think he slumps him even, maybe. I would even say, it's tough. I could see him winning a decision, but I'm going to say knockout.
Miller, I agree with you. I'm going to say knockout.
What round?
I'm going to say second to third round knockout.
Mm-hmm. As someone who has seen it firsthand, had their absolute heart ripped out of their soul. Okay, with Bryce Mitchell and Ilya, I know he's a dog. I know he's an absolute monster.
Right. What a shocker! And I've been telling you he's a bum. But anyways,
whoa. He's not a bum. He's not a bum. Let's not get that confused. But let me just say this: as somebody who's seen it up close and personal, as one of their favorite fighters get absolutely destroyed and brutally beat down by Ilya Topuria, he's not going to beat Volkanovski.
Oh,
He's not gonna beat Volkanovski.
Or Bryce. Oh
Yeah,
God.
he's a bum. He's still sleeping. Oh, Taporia beat him as well too. What a shocker!
Yeah.
Just no one. That's what you have against Taporia. He beat your
hates them.
boy. He beat
Yeah.
your boy. That now it all makes sense. Drew,
First of all, let's make it known right now if they were to fight again, that fight would look nothing like that again. I can promise you that much. It would not be. It would not be a beatdown like that. I
it'll
can tell
look
you that
worse.
much right
It'll
now.
look worse.
No,
It'll look worse.
Worse,
No,
right?
it wouldn't.
Look
I'll
worse.
die on that hill forever.
It'll look worse.
No, it wouldn't. Bryce would go in there and get his face back. I can tell you that much. It would not be a beatdown like that.
He had one job to avoid an overhand right. That's all Emmett had to offer, and he couldn't do it.
Josh Emmett, though. Josh Emmett got lucky. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut. I think the guy has something wrong with him. You can see his hair. You can see his face. I think there's something. There's a Make-A-Wish program going on for Josh Emmett, possibly.
Whoa.
Wow, this guy.
Here's what I got to say. Here's what I got to say about Taporia and Volkanovski. We've seen it happen countless times. Saw it just recently happen with Usman. Somebody gets flatlined. They come back a little bit, not the same. They're not that same guy. And Volk, like you said, pound for pound, face the UFC, was all that. But now he just face down, ass up against the cage, and now we're about to see. Now we're about to see
if
if
the
he's
UFC,
still,
pal. We're talking about the UFC, not what you're watching on the hub.
Don't get mad at me. Get mad at Islam. He did it to your boy, not me.
What do you mean? Volk built up Islam. Volk just made Islam put his name on the map. What do you mean?
Yeah, but Islam still did it. He still went out there and knocked that boy not out.
That's an honest conversation. We don't honestly know if Volk comes back the same.
Let me ask you
That's
this.
a good question.
No, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be honest about this.
Brutal.
Let's be honest
knocked
about
out
this.
bad.
Let's be honest. People weren't trying to push Islam as the face and say he's the ruler of the UFC and he's the king and all this when he beat Charles Oliveira. No. They weren't saying it when he beat Charles. They were saying it after he beat Volk. They were saying it after he beat Volk.
Some were saying after he beat Charles.
No.
Some were saying even before he beat Charles that it was a matter of time.
Nobody was saying that.
Could be before the Charles fight.
Nobody was saying that. And then after he beat Volk the first time, which was a very arguable fight, people were saying, oh my God, Islam could be better. He could be the face of the UFC. That's when it started happening. You can thank Volk for that. How would that work for somebody who's not the face, somebody who doesn't move the bill, somebody nobody cares about, some little guy, some little rat? How weird is that?
Little rat.
He's
from down under.
He's the face of his division. Any last thoughts, Drewski?
No, I'll let y'all go back at it and let this imbecile get to spewing dumb stuff.
There you have it. Drew in the building with a great call. It's good to have you back. We have one more caller tonight, and that is Thomas _NYCFC. Thomas, if you hear us, unmute yourself. We'll love to hear what you have to say. Great show today. Bunch of call-ins, a bunch of debates. Trey has been on the wrong side the whole night, but I mean, what's new? Thomas, whenever you're ready. As we wait for Thomas, Trey, what do you think about today's show thus far and all the call-ins?
Great show so far. Blessed to be here. Blessed to drop knowledge on the boys once again. We got a bunch of dummies in here, a bunch of fanboys, a bunch of casuals who know nothing about fighting. I'm glad I could be here once again, dropping the knowledge, the source, the king, the one who gets it done, Mr. Intel.
And as we wait for Thomas, you got about 15 seconds to unmute yourself. If not, then I guess we're going to have to carry on with the show. I hope you're okay. Trey, what you been up to?
I had it muted because I was watching watching on YouTube as well.
Whoa, is this Chris Faith again? Hold on. This guy sounds a little familiar right now.
All right,
what's up, Thomas?
Look, I just don't understand how Volka can be the face of the UFC when
they're smart.
He got a KO loss, and then everyone that he beat at 145 was already beat by Max.
Ooh, is that a verifiable stat? If someone could look it up in chat for us, because that's a good point if it's true.
He's basically eating sloppy seconds. That's not can't be the face when you're the second person to do one that's already done. You can't be.
And you're on back-to-back losses as well too.
Exactly. And then one of them was you got flatlined.
To the same guy though. To the same guy. Let's go ahead and clear that up.
That almost makes it worse. To have such a competitive fight in the first one, then get slumped in the second one, and now you're fighting Taporia.
Off of 2 weeks off the couch. I'm not
gonna lie. I mean, all right. How about this? If Volka can beat Taporia, maybe that's his case because Topuria looks to be legit, but I mean, we won't know until after.
Wait. When Max Holloway was running his circles around our division, doing everything, people were praising Max Holloway, acting like he was the best boxer in the entire world. He could just go be a boxing champion and be the UFC champion. And what happened? Yeah, Volk came up and absolutely ended his career, punched him drunk. Now he has no idea what to do anymore. You can barely talk when he speaks. He sounds like Nate Diaz. He sounds like Nick Diaz.
Nah, he's always sounded like that though.
I chalk that up to.
It's worse now. It's worse now.
I chalk that up to Holloway. Just that's not a good stylistic matchup against. Again, I'm not that crazily impressed with Volkanovski's resume. I mean, you have Holloway about 3 times. You have Chan Sung Young, who's old. You have Ortega, who I have no reason why like there's no names that you're like, wow, he like the fights that he actually won. There's no names that you're like, wow, he beat that guy.
Oh no, the only names. Look, I'll give you this.
Aldo's old too.
Don't get confused with dominance. Don't get confused with dominance and absolutely brutally beating people. This is what we used to say. We used to compare Izzy and we used to compare Volk because we used to say, well, it seems like not a lot's happening. They're both point fighters. No, Izzy wasn't doing nothing. Volk actually point fights. Volk is tagging people the whole entire time.
What names does he have on his resume that you say, wow, that's incredible? How did he do it?
Max Holloway 3 times.
Trey, you mentioned that Volk saved the division, but how? Isn't he doing the same thing that you're criticizing Max for?
No. This is what I'm saying.
What do you mean, no?
Max did all this. Max did all this in the division, and they praised him as some king, as some incredible boxer. He could just be a boxing champion anywhere he went. And then guess what? Then the big fish came in. Then Volkanovski came in, did the same.
I mean, you're saying big fish.
No, did the same exact thing that Max Holloway did in a better fashion, and then went up to Max Holloway and whooped that man 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row, single-handedly carried the division. When people said, what are we going to do? What's Max going to do? There's no one for him to fight. I mean, he's done everything in this division. What could possibly happen? And then Volk came and absolutely carried division. Carried the division in such a high fashion.
That's not 100% true, though.
Listen, carried the division in such a high fashion that he was the face of the UFC, carrying the card, had the 2 biggest fights in the UFC last year, and was the face of the game. How many times has Max Holloway done that? Never.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. And Max has been a card.
I'm simply.
He never actually. I don't think he ever really, headlined a UFC event.
I'm simply not impressed. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, that's true.
Face, no question.
Max fought, not Gaethje, when he fought Poirier twice and then lost. I mean.
Yeah, one of his biggest claims is he's durable as well too. Okay, like again, you look at Volkanovski's record. There's nothing really that wows you, like on there. Chad Mendes back in the day, Jose Aldo when he was already over the hill. There's just nothing spectacular.
Back in the day, he was the dog. Back in the day, Chad Mendes was nice. Back in the day.
No, he wasn't. He got dogged by McGregor.
That's the only fight you know from Chad Mendes. That's the only fight you know from him.
Exactly, because who is that guy?
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. He's a UFC legend.
He lost already to Jose Aldo. He lost to McGregor. He lost to Frankie Edgar. By the time he fought Volkanovski. Again, he's not that incredible. Any last thoughts, Thomas? We have one more guy waiting on the line. Thank you for calling in as always.
So, I mean, the only thing I can say is that I just don't think there is a, face of the UFC right now. I think they're in a spot where all the biggest stars, aren't even really fighting. Adesanya hasn't fought since his Strickland loss. McGregor hasn't fought in what? 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, he hasn't won since like 2016.
And then everyone else is kind of like flopping. So you want to say Pereira, but then Pereira lost to Sonya in the UFC rematch. Strickland, you say Strickland is the face, but then he lost to DD. So it's like, I mean, who?
Maybe they just don't have a face. That's the next topic.
Yeah, it's just not one right now, and then you're building up. So let's say what's his name? Trippier, whatever. I forget.
Topuria.
Let's say Topuria beats Volka. Start to make a case for the face of the UFC, depending on who else you can, beat. But I just think they're another UFC's in a tough spot. That's why they're having to force, O'Malley
Ooh.
or some of these other guys. I think O'Malley shouldn't even have been champion yet. I think he got a natural push.
He got gifted
I
a
think Dana has.
yeah.
He got gifted against Jan, and I think that's.
Yep.
I think anyone that can see will see that he got gifted the Jan fight.
He was ranked
like
number 13 to fight 1.
It just absolutely blows my mind that Volk could be doing it this long, absolutely dominate his division like that, do everything that basically Usman did in his division, and then still have the belt, be doing all this, and y'all are saying he's not even in consideration for the face
So before
of
I
the
go, I'm
UFC.
gonna say this.
That blows my mind.
Literally beating the people that Max already beat.
Ooh.
I never heard anyone once ever say that Max is the face.
What, bro?
No
what
one
do you
ever
want?
said that
What do
Max
you
was
want
the
him to
face.
do, bro? What do
No
you
one
want him
ever
to
said
do?
Max
He's
was
in
the
the
face.
same division.
Thomas with the bars.
Thomas, he's in the same division. What do you want him to do? He already went up and fought the scariest dude in the
and then
division higher
lost,
than
and
him.
lost. He couldn't do it.
Okay, so what?
We keep saying he
wanted to go-
fought him,
You
but he
want him to go
lost.
fight the bums in that division? He doesn't need to fight the bums in that division. He would dog every single one of them. He needs to go fight
No,
the
he
top dog
wouldn't.
in that division.
There hasn't been a contender in the
How
featherweight
many
division that's
times-
actually exciting.
How many times was Max offered a fight outside of his division?
Max is Max. I mean,
I think when he fought
Oh,
Poirier.
Max is Max. Max is Max. That's the argument response.
He's
Nice,
an entertainer.
man, you got me
He
there.
reminds me of like a Masvidal, like one of those. He's exciting to watch, but when it comes to like beating the upper echelon, he struggles a bit. He struggles.
Friday,
with
you guys
Poirier,
have
he
a good
struggles with
evening.
You
I'll let
too,
you
man.
guys go.
Yep, we have one more. Joining.
Let it be
Yep.
known. Let me just say this. We got to establish this. If you don't know who Chad Mendez is, you don't ever get to call into the podcast ever again. That's embarrassing. That's a UFC legend. How dare you disrespect him?
We have King Los in the chat right now. Welcome to the stream. What do you want to get off your chest?
What's up, brother? What's up, brother?
What's good,
How you
bro?
doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Nothing. I just want to know, like, into the whole thing about the face. Like, it seems like nobody has a criteria. Everybody's gonna debate, like, all right, is it followers on YouTube? Is it that I'm winning constantly, and people pay to see it? Like, what is the criteria for being the face of the UFC? You know what I mean? Because I mean, you could go either way with it. Like I personally feel that the UFC has no face.
Okay.
The only thing that keeps the UFC, in my mind, makes it good to watch is matchups. Boxing, you could a single man can sell a boxing fight, but in the UFC, you need matchups. Like Conor McGregor was the last person, in my mind, that could sell by himself. You could put him in there with a janitor, and people are gonna pay to watch Conor McGregor beat the janitor up. You know what I mean? Volkanovski, dog. He's a dog. He don't sell. Which random kid's just gonna pick up? Oh, I'm gonna go watch a Volkanovski fight, or like Sean O'Malley. I follow Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley won't sell like that crazy either. Like you'll get people to watch, but okay, but it's not gonna be no big like, oh man, we gotta go. Let's stop the press. We gotta go watch this Sean O'Malley fight, or we gotta go see Volkanovski. They're dogs. Don't get twisted, but that Cheetah Vera fight, Cheetah and O'Malley definitely could make money because they're both together. It's a good matchup. You know what I mean, that Volkanovski fight's gonna. I think that's a good fight. His next fight's gonna be a very good fight. I think Volk might beat that. He's gonna win that one, but like that should be a good fight. But what is the criteria? Because I keep hearing about debate. What is the actual criteria people are going off of to be the face of something?
It's collectively everything. You're the face of it. You're the brand. You're the marketing. You're the social media. You got everything going. You're good in the octagon. You're good on the mic. You got to have the whole package. You got to do it all. But here's what I want to say.
If that's the case, then Volkanovski, nobody's it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Comparing Sean O'Malley and Volkanovski is the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Who?
How much longer does Volkanovski have to do this? Sean O'Malley's headline, maybe two cards. Volkanovski, every card he's fought on since I don't even know when, probably since you've been a fan of the UFC, has been headlining the pay-per-views that he's fighting on. If he's not moving the needle,
And
if
Masvidal
he's
still
not
sells
the
more
face
than
of
him.
the UFC, then why on every single card does he fight on? Is he the face of the card? Is he the main event of the card? Him and whoever bum he is fighting. Not to mention he was the two biggest fights last year in the UFC. How is he not? Who else is doing that?
He's
Who
the main
else
event,
is
but he's
doing
not
that?
selling the
Who
most
else has been
simultaneously.
fighting on the main event the whole time?
I got a question for you. I got a question for the dude, Trey.
Uh-huh.
Because exactly what you said proved my point. If he's such this big time dude, he's not selling. I guarantee you could go to a random person in the street and says, no more of. See. I mean, like, people can be like, oh, I know Ronda Rousey. I know Conor McGregor. I mean, even take it back. I mean,
You don't
like,
think people know Volkanovski, dog?
Yeah,
not
Honestly,
the average,
you
not the average,
really don't
not
think
the,
so? Let
not the
me
average,
let me
not
let
the
me just say
average, not
this.
the average
Let me just say
combat
this.
fighter.
How
Not the
how
average combat fan, not the average combat fan. They don't know who Volkanovski is. They will watch a Conor McGregor fight. Everybody, you could ask an average person, do you know who Conor McGregor is? Yes, he was the UFC champion. You ask an average person, oh, do you know who Volkanovski is?
They're
This
not gonna know.
Ukrainian, they're not going to know.
let me ask you this. You think UFC is bad at business? You think that
Do I think they're bad at business?
Yeah, do you think they run a bad business? Do you think they have
Are you
had an
saying
unsuccessful
UFC or
business?
fighters? Are you saying
UFC,
UFC or fighters?
UFC, the brand UFC.
UFC is a great business.
Well,
Great business.
and wouldn't that
Okay,
go to his point?
wait, Miller, wait, Miller.
Uh-huh.
Miller. UFC's a great business, right?
That's why
So
they get the right matchups.
So how dumb would they be to put Volkanovski on the face of the card and every main event for every single fight that he has if he does not make any money or get any pay-per-view buys? You're telling me UFC's a great business. You're telling me they know what they're doing. They're successful. So why would they be making a horrible business decision?
Because he's a champion.
Because they make cards.
No, they're not. It's not just because. Oh well, we got to do it because he's a champion. The fight game, the UFC is always to make money. Every single card is to make money. How can we make money here? Guess what? Let's put Volkanovski as the face of the card because he's going to make money. He's going to get buys for it.
But are they only watching that fight for? Are they only watching that fight for Volkanovski, or is the UFC such a good business that they make cards?
Guess what? He's the main promotion of it. He's the main promotion of it.
So put him by himself with a bunch of amateurs as his preliminary fights. They're not going to make money.
That's not the UFC. That's not the UFC.
They're not going to make money. Exactly.
I'll tell you one thing.
That's what I'm saying. His card is so big. His card is so big, and he's headlining such big cards.
You're
They're
saying
not
he's
getting
the
bumps
face.
on there.
You're saying he's the face. It's his card. It ain't just him. So I can say the same thing like he said about Islam.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal,
Put
though.
a bunch of good fights under him. That's going to sell too.
What do you do? What do you do with the face, though? What do you do with the face?
Well, when the face is fighting, you obviously want your best cards under that because everybody's going to be watching. Everybody wants to see the new hot up and coming fighters. So you're going to put the best fighters and the most exciting fighters and most exciting new fighters on the best card. Whose card is that? Volkanovski's. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. You're telling me the UFC is not dumb at business, but then you are telling me
it's not dumb at business.
And you are telling me with your explanations that it is dumb at business.
There's a couple stats.
How am I saying is it dumb at business? I told you that the cards is what makes it. Okay. Yes, he's not the only one that ever headlines though. Does he headline every single UFC card? No.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
That's what I'm telling you. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like he don't headline every single
What's your name, dog? What's your name? Who's this? Los. Listen to me. This is what I'm telling y'all. For the biggest cards in the UFC, what do? You put the biggest fighters.
Put your headline up there.
Yeah, and then listen, you put the biggest fights, the biggest matchups, maybe some new stars that you want to get discovered because everybody's going to be watching it. That's why Volk's cards are so stacked because he's the face. He has that much pull that they want to put all these new fighters and big dogs in front of people's eyes because everybody's going to be watching him.
If he was the face, wouldn't he be the main event on these cards?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not.
Miller. He's not. So I'm glad. I'm glad he brought that. No. Let me give you some stats. If he's a face, you said he was a main event. He will be the main event fight. Well, on UFC 278, Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway, he was an undercard. Not the main event. He was the 251.
Who was the main event?
Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal. We take it a step further.
That's a waste.
We take it a step further. 276. Was he the main event? No, it was Adesanya Cannonier. So even Adesanya is above him, who's not even the biggest star himself. So that just debunks your point. You were basically saying
that's so weird.
Miller, that's why it's such a great business. I agree. Volk's a dog, but Islam could do that with a card. O'Malley could do that with a card. There's no face. They're just a very good business at making great cards.
Who wants
making
to
great
bet?
fights.
Who wants to bet that Islam's biggest card is when he fought Volk? Anybody want to bet that?
That's at the peak of his career. He just entered his prime. It's not like he's been here for years.
They're not buying that card because they're like, oh, Islam's at his peak right now. Let's see this. They're watching it because they're like, holy crap, he's about to fight Volk. Volk's serious. Volk's a dog. I want to see this.
Whenever Islam fights again, is going to be a bigger pay-per-view than whenever he fought Volk.
And I heard it a little bit different. I didn't hear it because he was fighting Volk. I heard he was going up to fight the dog. I ain't hear it because he's fighting Volk. I heard it because Volk coming up there to fight Islam.
Right, and unsettled, unfinished business when he went up in weight.
Stop that, Los. You know that's a lie. You know that's a lie, Los. You liar.
I like Volkanovski, but from what I heard,
man, you can't even say Islam's last name, Los. Don't lie. Quit playing right now. You can't even pronounce his last name.
You could ask George. I'm a firm believer in the Russians is what's running this damn UFC joint right now. Say that right now.
I'm not arguing that.
The Russians is running that UFC joint right now. Until my boy Bo Nickel come up, then it's over.
Bo Nickel's a problem. He's way better than Hamza Shemaev. Any last thoughts, Carlos? We got one more person waiting as well too.
Nah, man. I enjoyed the show. Y'all killing it. Keep it up.
Yo, appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in.
No problem.
We have one more because and guess who it is? Guess who it is? Trey. It is sorry, I kicked myself out.
I was about to say, can you get back in?
It is Hito 609. Closing thoughts. Last caller of the night.
Turn your camera back on for me if you don't mind.
Oh, it's not on. My bad. I got you. Yo, Hito. Yo. I think he wanted to say something. He joined, and this will be the last caller of the night. It has been a fun one. Trey has been for the most part. Everybody disagrees with him except Beta, so that goes to tell you a lot. George, I don't know if you joined on purpose.
How funny is that, Miller? Let's just be honest with the public right now. Coming on here having absolutely no idea what we're going to talk about and just hitting one topic and people just hammer it. How fun! It works out like that all the time. It's just funny how that happens.
It was we're getting better at this podcast game. We're gonna start throwing out more clips of our podcast as well too, Trey. So be on the lookout for that. But we're doing our thing. I don't know if Hito 609 is gonna talk. I'll give him like 10 seconds, I guess, before
I'm starting to think he's doing something weird to us. This is making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing there. He should change his profile picture. But yeah. We'll see. We'll see if he has anything to say. Any closing remarks as we wait for Hito?
No, way to wrap up everything and before he gets back on here. I think I'll say this. I think you are tripping. I get everybody wants to go against me. Everybody wants to hate on me. Everybody tries to come at the king, the source, the one who gets it done, Mr. Intel. But I'm telling y'all,
you had a good week last week.
Volkanovski is way more of a face. Is way more of a face than anybody else is saying or thinks that he is. It blows my mind that people are still not giving him the respect that he deserves after what he's done in his division and for the UFC and been carrying it and just absolutely dogging cats. Not to mention, just for the record, I want to clear this up. He is the headline of the next card he's on. So, I mean, I'm just saying he's headlining it though. And people are saying that it's possibly better than the UFC 300. So, That's just. I'll just throw that out there.
Thomas says Chad Mendes is a bum. Listen, when it comes to Volkanovski, he is the second greatest featherweight of all time. So we're not taking anything away from him. He's just not the face of the UFC right now. I think that's fair, and I think most people would agree.
That's what I'm saying. I think you are being extremely. How much longer does he have to do it? How much longer does he have to do it? How much longer does he have to defend the title? He still got the belt. You're talking about him in a different division, going up, and he's already small in his division, and he goes up in a division and competes at a high level. It shocked the entire world, I would say, when he was in there and fought like that against Islam because people act like Islam can't be touched. That was the first time we've ever seen, besides like Islam's first two fights. I think he got knocked out before or something like that. But that's the first time we've actually seen Islam, after him being in his prime and getting primed up and being a dog, him be beatable and look like, hold on a second, is Islam not this dog that everybody's saying he is? That's when Volkanovski fought him. And I want to say this to address what that Los was saying. You're putting the best fights and biggest fighters and up-and-coming stars on the biggest cards. That's how you make more stars. That's how you get people's popularity up. That's how you get more eyes on the card and get people more excited about it. You put them on the biggest cards. If you look at Volk's cards, every card he's on, they are stacked up to the brim. That's not because Volkanovski ain't moving numbers. That's not because he needs help getting pay-per-view buys. That's because he is doing all that. He is moving the needle. He is pushing the bill. And he is getting all the money and all the buys, and that's why they're putting on him, and he has all the eyes on him, so they want to put all these fighters on there so they can get exposed and finally make a name for themselves. It's simple. Y'all tell me UFC isn't a bad business. Y'all tell me they're smart and successful, and then y'all explain dumb tactics to me. Let's just think from a business standpoint. Let's just think from that. We'll just start there. We don't even got to talk about the theories and who's better and followers and all this stuff. Let's just think as a business. What are we doing as a business? And I'm correct. I'm telling y'all, I'm correct. Volkanovski is clearly the face of the UFC, clearly the face of the business. Miller, I'm about to just go ahead and get out of here. We did it again. I'm gone. I'm glad I could bless the people with knowledge once again on the ears. Appreciate you having me. My mouth is so dry right now. I'm about to get out of here. The source, the king, the one who gets it done. Mr. Intel is out again. I don't have the hat on. Subscribe to Wedgie's Golf Co. We're blowing up, going to the moon. See you next week.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. He was saying Volk is a face and all that. I would say he's the seasoning. He's not necessarily the steak of it all, right? He's the seasoning. You throw him as a co-main just to, add another championship fight to the card. But is he the face of the UFC? I would say no. But you guys could leave a call or leave a comment down below on the video and share your thoughts on that. #1 commentary channel on YouTube. Thank you for everybody that called in. I think that was the most call-ins that we got on a night. Granted, we was here for quite some time, but thank you guys so much. New video coming out soon because we have just been putting in the work, and I just want to thank you guys for the ongoing support. It has been a pleasure. We just hit 8,330 subscribers right now, so that's pretty cool as far as what we've been doing. As far as the latest UFC news, real quick, if I just want to share, go check this video out with the latest UFC news. Beta, you were wrong. Promoters care about asses and seats. Pay-per-view is the extra money you can bring in with eyes. Australia has some of the highest gates. Asses and seats is where the real money is. Volkanovski's great. He's just not the face. Beta, #1 commentary channel on YouTube. Also, as well, too, one more thing. Let me see if I could find it real quick. How do I get there fast? I think one second. Miller DC clips. I gotta have. I'm gonna make a command for that because I don't know how to do it, or I can't do it right now. So in the meantime, I'll just give you guys. The link real quick. How do I? There we go. This is the link for the clip channel. Go check that out. George is doing numbers over there. Hito's doing numbers over there with the shorts. His last short got what, like 1,000 views? Crazy. 1.4K. That's crazy. So I